Welcome back to Fempreneur Diaries, where we dive deep into the journeys of women who are breaking barriers, redefining industries, and proving that success isn't just a destination, it's a journey. Our guest today is a powerhouse of talent, a woman who wears many hats with effortless grace. Actress, director, entrepreneur, dancer, and artist. She's broken barriers in Gujarati cinema, taken center stage across continents, and continues to inspire with her work in entrepreneurship and education. Today, on the show, we're joined by Ms. Shital Shah, the first woman director of New Age Gujarati cinema, the creative mind behind Limelight Pictures and its school, a fierce advocate for MSME growth through International Center for Entrepreneurship and Career Development, a UN recognized center for excellence. Get ready for an incredible journey through film, passion, purpose, and everything in between. This is a conversation you do not want to miss. Hi, Miss Sheetal. How are you?
Hi, I'm very well, and thank you so much for having me here. And how what a beautifully done introduction of mine. Thank you.
Thank you. So let's start with your cinematic journey. Let's start with your journey in Gujarati cinema and how did you start off? And were there any challenges you faced? Uh, because maybe you felt like it was a male dominated area, or was it okay for you?
Well, journey in the Gujarati cinema space was very, very unconventional because that was never the goal.
Yeah.
It's not a space which I had ever dreamt of being in or which ever featured in my to-do list.
Mhm.
It all started with my passion for acting, which was a hobby initially, and that hobby got more and more prominence. I started loving it more and more. While I was studying, I started modeling, then I started acting. I got into television. I straight away crash landed into one of the topmost shows that was running on Star Plus at that time. So, what a wonderful break it was for me to just foray into the field of acting. From television, I went into theater because I got an opportunity to work with Mr. Paresh Raval on stage, and there could not have been a better school for me to learn how to really act. So, from television to theater, I did more than 250 shows with him all over the world, took me places. And from there, I got into movies where I signed my first film, which was a children's movie called My Friend Ganesha,
Wow.
and it was India's first composite animation film, and
Yeah.
it did extremely well. It became the highest televised film of that year, where the maximum telecast of any movie that had ever happened in India was My Friend Ganesh. I was literally reached to every drawing room in India,
Yeah.
and thereon I had a bit of a disappointing journey, I would say, for a while because there were a lot of pictures, a lot of movies that I could get through with and I could sign, but they wouldn't take off, or I would be unceremoniously replaced, or and the difficulties were many.
Yeah.
So I couldn't get into the big movies
Mhm.
on my terms and conditions. So that was a bit putting off. And that was the time where, again, a lot of television offers came my way. So I got back to television in a big way. And having acted then for 12 years across platforms, I felt that I'd done it all, and I felt like telling my own stories. And I never realized that for those 12 years while I worked, I just learned so much technology and so much detailing on how stories are told, that I felt like making my own story. And that was how I started writing the story that I made in Gujarati, my first movie called Hutu Tutu Avi Ramathni Rutu.
Okay.
And it purely happened because I had done 21 movies as a lead actress, out of which only 5 released,
Mm.
and the rest of them have still not released. So I said, let's make movies that
Yeah.
can see the light of the day. And that's how Gujarati films happened.
You have such an inspiring journey. I mean, do you know about this economic cycle where you start with a boom and then you slowly and gradually start to go down and then you go up again and then you have boom again. I think you started off with boom. You did have your downs, but now I feel like you have reached a content stage. I'm and for the work you've done with my friend Kanesha, that is
I think I watched my friend Ganesha growing up. you were in my you were in my living room growing up as well.
Yes.
But let's talk about, as you said, making your own stories. Let's talk about Limelight Pictures.
So Limelight Pictures came into the picture because to make my story and tell my story, I needed a production house.
Yeah.
At that time, I was still acting. So I was doing a crime thriller called Arjun on Star Plus, where I was playing an ACP and I was shooting it out and I was kicking people left, right, and center. And that show lasted for a good long 1 year. So it was 365 days non-stop that I shot for that show.
Yeah.
And the studio where we used to shoot this show was called Limelight.
Okay.
It was a factory called Limelight Factory. They used to make stone in that factory, and वहाँ पे हमारा studio था. So while I was writing the story of Hutututu and we were registering the story and we were putting it in shape, it was like, okay, we need a production house. What should we name it? And I just saw Limelight written over there. And I said, that's a fabulous name for a production house because it's all about the lights and the limelight.
Yeah.
And that's how the name came into the picture. And Hutututu became our first feature film after which we made many more feature films. We made corporate films, we made advertisements, we made podcasts, we produced podcasts, and we continue to make some interesting content under the banner.
That is amazing. That you have touched so many different fields. In one field as a broader sense, but amazing, yes. And so you're an actress, but you're also telling stories. You're also directing people. You're also doing advertisement, podcasts. How do you? How are you different when you're an actress and when you are directing or when you're storytelling?
That's a wonderful question, I must say. Acting is a solo journey and a journey of your soul. Because while you're acting, you're learning dialogues written by a dialogue writer.
Yeah.
You're taking movements as your director has told you to. You're wearing clothes that your designer has designed for you. You're wearing makeup that your makeup artist has put on you. You're wearing hair that your hairstylist does. So it's like you are dolled up.
Yeah.
And the journey as an actor is just between action and cut. And there, as an actor, I have to catch hold of my character.
Yeah.
I have to delve deep into the psychology of the character. But when I'm doing that, I'm working with myself and my psyche.
Yeah.
While when I'm directing, I'm dealing with at least 500 people at a time.
Yeah.
Each and every department is directed by me. Every question is answered by me, whether the wall should be blue or pink, whether I should be sitting like this or like this, how should I work, where the camera goes, where the light goes. So it's like 1,000 things. It's a lot of people management. It's a lot of creativity because you're basically dealing with every single creative aspect, be it performance, be it lights, be it sound, be it music, be it writing. It's a far more intense job, I would say.
Yeah.
It gives you a different sense of satisfaction while you direct and a different sense of satisfaction while you act. So one journey is a journey within, and one journey is a journey which is completely outward.
Definitely.
So it's chalk and cheese.
Do you ever was it? Do you like more of your acting films where you acted, or do you like more of your films that you directed?
Oh, it's like choosing between your two kids.
Okay.
Because in both the things, Navya, you put in a lot of yourself, your soul into it.
Yeah.
So I would say while I act, I do get associated in a very different way because it's just my role I'm associated with, and then the entire story. But as a director, I am closely associated to my spot boy, to my chai making person, to my cameraman, to the 2,000 other people, technicians. So it's a much wider spectrum.
Yeah.
And I love both. Love both.
Definitely, no, definitely. But I think that you'll be more relaxed and more free when you're acting because you know what you're supposed to do. But I think that you don't have that thriller when you're directing as you would have in acting. So you've acted in so many different so many different films. You've done so many different creative work across the whole production field. What is one role that was very meaningful to you, or that changed your perspective, or that completely changed your life?
Is it limited to the roles I played on screen?
No, and
So, the one role that completely changed my life and my perspective was my role as a mom when I had my kids.
yeah,
It is another world now for me. And when I compare it to the roles, the so many roles that I did, which I pursued for so long, and it was this whole passion. And I shifted to Mumbai. I was there for 12 years and I worked on every single platform, and each and every project gave me a kick, a satisfaction, and the whole thrill of, having a goal, pursuing it, and getting there. However, these are all, I feel, overrated in
yeah,
terms of how they impact a person,
okay,
because you're just playing a role.
hmm.
You go in the morning, you shoot, you come back, but you're still the person that you are.
Yeah,
So the roles don't change you. It's a morning to evening thing you do,
yeah,
and it doesn't become your life. But when you play roles or go through milestones in life, from which, in my case, was having both my kids, that one thing changed the way I looked at life. It helped me to understand the value of the present moment. It helped me to once again start loving the smaller things like the birds chirping and the beautiful smell coming in my garden, which you tend to overlook when you're just running after something. So I think that really changed my life. And it's interesting that out of the three movies that I made, the last two I made one after the other as my daughters came in. So my first daughter was 1 year old when I produced and directed my second film, and my second daughter was the same age when I made my third film. So people used to tell me, "Arey, chote bacche hain, how will you work?"
yeah,
Which was a question in my mind also, because like you want to give all your time to the child at that time. But I realized one thing, that when you really focus on doing something as well along with your family, the whole system sets up for you. Even your
definitely.
child supports you. So I have so many of my pictures, uh, behind the scene pictures where I'm directing. So I'm behind the camera and my kitten's in my head, and I'm still managing to do it. So that gave me a lot of confidence, and all the limitations sort of evaporate, and you realize a lot of things when you go through this kind of a journey.
Definitely. I think that when you have your family supporting you, you can achieve great heights.
Yes.
It's very important to have their support and to, do something, because when you don't have their support, it feels like there's something missing.
It's
They'll,
much tougher.
yeah, they'll pull you out of tough times. They know what to say. And I think that they should be there when you're doing anything, whether, be it directing for you or anything. But let's move on. So you're also working for the community. You're also the head of International Center for Entrepreneurship and Career Development. How do you see entrepreneurship shaping the future of India's MSME sector?
India is a country which has survived and thrived because of its entrepreneurs.
Yeah,
And MSME sector is a huge part of the enterprise sector of the country.
yeah,
Having been associated with this from a very early age for me, because the Institute, International Center for Entrepreneurship and Career Development, was started by my mother
mm,
in the year 1986.
okay,
And it started with creating entrepreneurs across cross section of the society, with a special focus on women.
mm,
You will be surprised to know women make 50% of the world's population and India's population as well.
yeah,
But their contribution to our GDP is mere 18%. So a lot of work that women do not have any economic value attached to it.
yeah,
Point number one.
mm,
And women getting into business is still rare.
yeah,
There are wonderfully inspiring stories and cases, but when you look at the whole of the population of our country, the percentage is still minuscule.
mm,
Things are changing, but
yeah,
there's a long, long way to go. So, we in our institute have been mentoring women from across the world, across the country, with different kind of women. Sometimes they are postgraduates, sometimes they are graduates. Some they come with experience, they come with no experience. They may be educated, uneducated, literate, illiterate, rural, tribal.
yeah,
We deal with all of them. And I'm so proud and happy to say that we've been able to make that little difference, because our entrepreneurs, even if they couldn't sign their names, but they are earning 25 to 30,000 rupees sitting in their tribal area.
That's
Our
amazing.
entrepreneurs are, I'm not talking about ki khakra banaya, papad banaya, kapda sila. These are the kind of enterprises, businesses you relate to women.
Yeah.
Our entrepreneurs are dealing with non-traditional businesses. They are into manufacturing tube light chokes. They are into manufacturing stapler pins. They are into tiffin services. They are into tuition classes. They are into art classes. They are into dance classes. Um, we have second generation entrepreneurs joining their mothers,
Yeah.
where they are dealing with Ayurvedic medicine, or they are dealing with, say, for example, there was a mother who started with tiffin services. The daughter joined her. She created an app, and per day they are actually distributing 3,000 rotis.
Wow.
So we have people like that, and that's what our institute does. And MSME sector is thriving, and it is the answer to many questions that our nation is facing today, is what we feel.
That is amazing. I mean, the work that you do is amazing. Has there ever been a story or, a woman that you've met with at the center, and then, she changed how you look at things? She inspired you. You inspire so many people, but was there someone who inspired you through their story, through their journey?
We were working in, I mean, our team and we all of us were working. I was in first year college, and right from a very early age, my mother made sure I was part of what we do.
Yeah.
And I feel that's where my value system to really value what this institute does started developing. So even while I worked in Mumbai for 12 years, I was still working with the institute remotely.
Okay.
We had been working in a village where we were collecting women to get into the dairy business, because there was a lot of cattle in the village. So raw material was there. So dairy can produce various things.
Yeah.
One is milk, and it is curd and chash and mithai and many other ancillary things. So we developed a couple of women to do different types of businesses. And one of the ladies, she did so well. She collected 3, 4 other women, made partnerships with them, started a business, and thrived. And when we met her after 3 years, she called me. She said, "Come here," because I'd taken her pictures when we'd gone there. So I was into photography at that time, and my job given to me by my mother was to photo document the entire process.
Yeah.
So when I went there after 3 years, she called me and she showed me a tree, and she said, "You can see that tree? I used to tie my cow over there. Now I have a Maruti tied there." So she actually owns a car now, which is standing at the same place where her cattle was initially. So that really stayed with me, that if we really put our minds to something, there's not much that can stop us as women.
Yeah.
Be it a rural place where those women were not even allowed to get out of the house without ghungat.
Yeah.
That traditional place I'm talking about. And here she was.
You're making great development. I mean, uh, I think that what we try to portray, or what we are trying to, come up with this in the podcast, is that we want to showcase women who, are doing inspiring stuff, who are, making a name for themselves, who have their own brands. But I love it when women are also empowering other women around them.
Absolutely.
Because
Absolutely.
that is very important, because we need to stick together to actually build up a force, and to come over the taboos or the stagnations that have been put over us. And I think this is very wonderful. um uh, Going more into this, how do you connect your creative background to your work at the center?
Our work at the center is also extremely creative.
Yeah.
And I believe that every work that you do has a lot of creative space in it. We usually attribute creativity to things like art or filmmaking or painting or craft.
Yeah.
But I feel that any business,
Yeah.
we also run a school
Yeah.
where we teach entrepreneurship to kids from grade 1 to grade 10.
Yeah.
It's called the Satyamev Jayate International School. It's a CBSE school. But when I'm sitting on the timetables of the school, it's still very creative. Because creativity to me is something that you apply to any work to make it more efficient and more cost effective.
Yeah.
So it's a thrilling experience for me to either, if I'm going to the school, or whether I'm recruiting a new teacher, or whether I'm looking into the accounts, or I'm running my film school. It's all part and parcel of a lot of creativity. It has to just be recognized that there's creativity involved in every single aspect of our work.
Definitely agreed. Um, do you think that when you said that you run a school as well, right? So children there, do you have children from like all backgrounds, or is it just focused to people from not so privileged backgrounds?
No, we have people across the backgrounds.
Okay.
And we take in students not considering the just the financial backgrounds, but the intent of the parents
Yeah.
as to what they really want their child to develop into.
Yeah. Okay.
And if their philosophy matches with ours, because in our school we talk a lot about self-reliance, that's something we create in the school. See, every school has the same subjects, the same books,
Yeah.
the same syllabus.
Yeah.
You have to teach maths, you have to teach maths, you have to teach social studies, you have to teach social studies. So what more does a school do
Yeah.
besides making you gain your marks?
Yeah.
So we have, our focus is self-reliance, and that the school does, but the same implementation of the philosophy has to happen at home.
Yeah. Definitely.
And self-reliance doesn't just mean that you earn your own living.
Yeah.
Self-reliance is when a 6-year-old kid is able to fold her clothes, pack her bag, do her own thing, and feel confident that I can do it.
Yeah.
It starts there.
Definitely.
When a child, a 7-year-old, is able to talk with 5 adults without feeling flutters in the tummy, self-reliance and confidence is that. So this is our focus. So whichever parent aligns with that philosophy and wants to become our partner in developing the child is the parent who gets into Satyamel Jayate.
And you said that it's a CBSE school. How do you try to implement entrepreneurship, self-reliance, while also following the board? Like, because you get a limited time in school, you're following the same 8 periods, and then you have the same subject, as you said.
Yeah.
How do you try to implement those values because you have such limited time with the students?
You said it. And that, I'm going to go back to your previous question. This is where the creativity comes in.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's limited number of 8 periods every day.
Yeah.
Is the same syllabus that we need to complete. So how do we manage to put in those extra things that are not even asked for by the board?
Yeah.
We technically don't have to do it.
Yeah.
It's
definitely.
enough.
Yeah.
पढ़ा दिया, exam हो गए, बहुत अच्छे marks आ गए, great.
Yeah.
But we still do it. And that's where we creatively design a timetable. We design the methodology in such a way that in some of the things we are able to mix two subjects, like a geography can be mixed with economics.
Yeah.
You will agree, you're an
Yeah.
economics student, right?
Yeah.
So you can mix geography with economics, and that's how you learn to relate to different subjects. It's not that geography is just about what is where.
Yeah.
It's not that economics is just about money.
Mm.
Now, if you're going to get into import and exports, your geography and economy is coming together.
Yeah, connect.
So we do a lot of such things in our school where we allow the children to understand the correlation between subjects. That's how they learn better,
Yeah.
and they are able to learn more things. And we very creatively design our programs, our study material, such that our kids actually wait for those inputs. Ki, chalo, ye khatam karo, let's do this.
Yeah.
So that's how we manage it.
I think that is a very, very creative approach as well, because when you look, I'm in CBSE as well. So when I look at when you tell me that you mix geography with economics in 10th grade, I would have loved to do that because I do not like geography, but I like economics. And if you're
Exactly.
mixing it together, I would come to study it. So you're making dreadful experiences into something that
Yeah.
might change the perspective of children as well. Do you see a union or connection between your artwork that you do and your work on cinema and television?
A lot of connection. A lot of connection. So when I do art,
Yeah.
if I'm painting, I have a canvas in front of me, and
Yeah.
I would take anywhere from 1 day to 1 month to complete a painting, depending on what my subject is and what my mood is on that day. Because art sometimes just flows and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
So I'm working on that one canvas,
Yeah.
which is one frame.
Yeah.
When I'm making a movie, I am actually working on 24 frames per second.
Okay.
That's how when you're rolling your camera here, it's rolling at 24 or 25 frames per second.
Okay.
And when you see those frames at a certain speed is when you see motion.
Yeah.
That's the basic technology.
Okay.
So ultimately, you are creating one frame while you paint, and you're creating multiple frames while you're making a movie. You're still telling a story.
Yeah.
Like a painting will still tell you a story, and a
Okay.
film will still tell you a story. But like acting is a solo journey, so is painting. It's you don't need anything. You need your canvas, your colors, and yourself, and you
Yeah.
can forget about the world. But filmmaking becomes like such a people's thing, and you manage people's tantrums, you manage people's likes, dislikes. You
Yeah.
still need to get the best out of them. So it's a lot more. It's taxing. It's pressurizing. I got my first white hair when I directed a film. Yeah.
You work with a lot of people. Have you ever worked with Gen Z people on your directing?
I make sure I have Gen Zs on my set
Yeah.
because I feel that Gen Zs bring a lot to the energy, to a fresh perspective, and it is the healthiest way to work when you have a person from each generation present on anything that you do.
Yeah.
So not just my set, even my office, my school office, my back office, my ICCD office, we have people who come with 20 years of experience, and we have Gen Zs also, and we all work together. And I feel that you can take the best decisions when all these minds get together.
Definitely. Do you think that working with Gen Z people is, a little different? I mean, it's definitely different when you're working with people of much older generation. But then, do you think that there's still a maybe like a perspective difference, or if there you don't agree on something, and then maybe because that Gen Z person has a completely different view and a completely different take on something than you have, and how do you overcome it?
I love the different take. I
So how
like
do you
to
work?
have people who can come up with a different take than mine.
Yeah.
And that's a very, very healthy way of working. There are disadvantages and advantages both, not just with Gen Zs, with
Yeah.
every generation.
Yeah.
So if I talk of the older generation whom I'm working with, they come with, of course, a different upbringing, different experiences, perhaps a much richer experience in terms of duration,
Yeah.
and in terms of dealing with human resources, and in terms of having a knowledge base which is very strong with the older generation. With the Gen Zs come with zero experience,
Yeah.
but they come with a fresh energy. They
Mm.
come with an openness to learn. They come with random ideas.
Yeah.
And I like to listen to those random ideas, and sometimes I get great ideas from them, which I would acknowledge. Uh, Not saying that I'll take all those ideas because some of them may not fit the bill,
Yeah.
but to completely disregard the Gen Z generation or the older generation would be disastrous. I think it would be smart to make the best of both.
Yeah.
The only thing that is needed is both need to have respect for each other. It's very sad because many times people say आज का generation तो ऐसा ही है, that every generation says that.
Yeah.
आजकल के बच्चे. So we all have been आजकल के बच्चे at one point of time. So the distance is bound to be there, but
Yeah.
I feel that's a very positive thing, and we should take advantage of it rather than discrediting or removing a particular section of the age group from the work that we do.
Definitely. Agreed. I think that when you talk about female entrepreneurs or new entrepreneurs who are Gen Zs, they have a very different take on how they run their businesses or their companies than to big conventional companies run, and I think that when we look at businesses that Gen Zs are running, they're more focused on how to put it out on social media and how to connect with people who are their age, like how to, I think that the target that they have reached is that people the same age, but for conventional businesses they've also reached the same target, like people their same age. And I think that they're able to connect with people that are same age because they have the same mindset. But once you're able to connect with people from all different ages, from all different generations, I think that's where you hit the jackpot. And
Absolutely. Because otherwise, you're limiting your clients or your audience to a very limited age group.
yeah,
And
definitely.
like you said, if it's just social media, fine. But if you're talking about businesses, if you're talking about enterprises,
Yeah,
you cannot limit your client base or your customer base to just your age group.
yeah,
That would be very limiting.
yeah.
And
I
it also
agree.
depends on what's the product or what's the service.
Okay.
I know a very young entrepreneur. He started in school where he's recycling rubber to make tires. So, who are his customers? Tires, right?
Yeah.
It's one and all.
Okay.
I mean, the Gen Z is not really buying cars.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
car buyers are the elder generation
Yeah.
who have the money to spend.
Yeah.
So, it all depends on the maturity also of the young entrepreneurs as to whom do you want to reach out to,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
how far you are able to do away with this whole uh, concept that, oh, we are the young ones and we are the ones who are going to take things forward. You are, but you cannot discredit or remove the experienced elder generation with rich knowledge base completely out of your radar.
Definitely. Agreed. Agreed. You've worn many hats. You've been an actress. You've been a director, an entrepreneur, a painter, a dancer. So, what's one thing that keeps you motivated to get out of bed every morning?
um I think my ability to take each day as it comes.
Okay.
uh like you mentioned, I do a lot of things,
Yeah.
which really looks nice when you talk about it. But to be able to juggle it all sometimes can be overwhelming.
Yeah.
Sometimes can put you off in the sense that, oh my God, I want to devote so much time to this, but
Yeah.
I have other things to handle as well. So it has its own challenges. But the good part is that you have new things to do every day. So it's like you're dealing with the institute one day, suddenly there's a film thing coming in, suddenly there's an acting project that's coming in. So the variety is so beautiful. And if nothing, I look forward to my weekends where I just sit and paint. So it's me, my paint, and my music. So often I dip my brush in my tea because I forget to have my tea. So I feel completely blessed that I'm able to do all of this. I would give a lot of credit to my mother for being able to do all of this because she taught me to keep pursuing things once I start them. So I was never allowed to quit.
I think that is a very good habit.
Yeah. It was like she put me in a dance class and I didn't enjoy it. I didn't like my teacher. I thought I was not being given enough due and enough importance, and I was not being selected for the programs. And so I was very upset. Growing up years.
Yeah.
So she would tell me that, okay, don't go today, but you're not going to quit this.
Yeah.
You have to finish it. And I didn't realize when I fell in love with dance.
Agreed.
So thanks to my mom, I think.
I think that our parents sometimes, when they say some stuff to us, we don't completely agree. But
Yeah.
later we see what was the main reason. I had a very similar experience when I did not like to go to these certain classes. Um, and then my mom and dad, they kept pushing me. They're like, "This is very nice for you. This is very good for your future." And today, I am very grateful that they did that for me, because of those classes, I think that I can speak so confidently here, and I know so many things. So definitely grateful to their
Look at
advice.
you, isn't it?
Also, one last question to end. What is one piece of golden advice you would give to young women who are entering into your field, like acting, maybe directing, or maybe into a field of entrepreneurship?
I think whichever field young women are choosing, I'm nobody honestly to give any advice, but I would definitely say that don't go after ticking the boxes.
Yeah.
Okay, I finished my study. Now I'm finishing my college. Now I need to do this. Now this is the right thing to do. Now it's the time to get married. Now it's the time to have kids. It's so ingrained in, especially in women, that their entire life is designed by, at this time this should happen, at this time this should happen, at this time this should happen. and after which you can do whatever you want to do. Not worth it,
Yeah.
because you spend more than half your life before you realize that you've lost the plot. So whatever you wish to do, go after it. Timelines are not what define your life, and nor is validation from outside that really matters.
Yeah.
लोग क्या कहेंगे, हमारे में ऐसा ही होता है, that's something we need to steer away from. And then there's so much you can do in life and make informed choices. Once you achieve that, then you make a choice on what you want to do. Don't do it because it's supposed to be done. So I think
agree.
that's one major thing that girls, women need to adapt.
I agree. I think also when women are sometimes when they are even given the freedom to do whatever they want, and all their life they've been told to do something, when they have that freedom, they're not aware of what they want to do because they've always been told what to do.
Exactly.
They're not able to make
Yeah.
decisions. So I think implementing that at a very young age is very
Yes.
needed at this stage. So now we have a rapid fire for you. You can answer
Okay.
in one word or one line, whatever you feel best.
Okay.
A film or show that changed your life.
Hutututu.
Directing or acting? What gives you the bigger thrill?
Depends on my mood. If I really want to work hard, directing. If I want to relax, enjoy, and just feel pampered, acting.
Agreed. A dream actor or actress you'd love to direct.
Wahida Rahman.
And the same for acting, a dream actor or actress you'd love to work with.
Amitabh Bachchan.
Okay, nice. So that's it for today's questions. Thank you so much. What a journey from blazing tales on Indian television and cinema to shaping future change makers. Through education, enterprise, Ms. Sheetal is the embodiment of versatility and vision. If you've loved this conversation, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who needs a dose of inspiration today. Until next time, keep hustling, keep dreaming. This is Fempreneur Diaries, where ambition wears lip gloss.